What's up, all the Ewoks, Tribbles, Droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and today I'm going to be talking about the outrage and the mob that's been going after me for a few days now, all because I posted an opinion of mine on my social media. And people saw it and lost their fucking minds. So the post that I posted was actually about Shera. So if you guys don't know, Shera got rebooted, and I gave my opinion on the designs, and I said this is infuriating. And I posted some of the images of the original characters compared to the new redesigns. Now, for those of you that follow me, you guys are all aware, but for everyone that is new here, welcome. I appreciate you being here. Please drop a like on the video if you don't mind. But for those of you that don't know, I am actually a professional artist. It even says it in my description of my Twitter and on my YouTube channel. Basically everywhere I say artist and YouTuber, because even before I was a YouTuber, I was an artist. I've been drawing and painting since before I can remember. I went to college and I got a degree in art, specifically concept art for animated movies, TV shows, video games, and live action films. So when I give my opinion on art, it's not just me saying, oh, I like this, I dislike this. It's me looking at it from a professional standpoint. Now, let's take a look at some of these designs, because I just said this is infuriating, and the mob came after me, and it has not stopped. And the people that have been coming after me, I mean, the things that they are saying is, oh, it's because you can't jerk off to them because they don't have big boobs. Oh, it's because the characters are not all white women. It's because you're against diversity and different types of body types and all of the insane things that you could imagine somebody saying. It's been said, and I'll go through some of those tweets. But just looking at these designs, I mean, the more and more I look, the more infuriated I get, because it's like this was made back in the 80s. This was made in the 2010s. That's a pretty big gap, and the leaps that we have taken in technology since the 80s, and this is what you come up with. Now, I'm going to have to give a little history lesson for those of you if you are not too familiar with animation and the history of it. So we're going to go on a little journey and talk about a little person that I don't know if you've heard of him. Their name is Walt Disney. So Walt Disney started this animation company, and he actually produced the first feature-length animated movie called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And one of Walt Disney's goals in life was to create this art form and, you know, to show movies, but through the art of animation. He didn't invent animation in any means necessary, but he saw it as a tool so that way he could use to do storytelling. And he went through a huge evolution in where he started in animation to where he ended. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about these things that he created, which was called the Silly Symphonies. Now, these were the little shorts that he came out with before Snow White existed. This is actually my favorite one, which is called Music Land. Now, if you look at the way that these things were drawn, they weren't really realistic. They were shapes, and they had this type of animation called basically spaghetti noodle armed or spaghetti noodle animation, which is when the characters, you know, like this character right here, she's a what is it called? A violin. She's a violin. And so when she moves, her arms move like spaghetti arms. It's almost as if they don't have elbows. But Walt Disney, what he wanted to do was he wanted to create something that was realistic. And he wanted to show someone like Snow White, someone like Cinderella, someone like Ariel. And he wanted to do animation, but make it as realistic as possible through the art of animation. So that's why there was always this evolution when you go back and you watch Disney movies, whether you watch their shorts or whether you watch, their full feature-length films. And so one of the animations that is really famous for its terrible animation is the Goddess of Spring. Now, this was another one of the shorts, but Walt Disney, what he loved about it was he loved the design of Persephone. And so she looks like human body type, but the way that she's animated was like a spaghetti noodle. So her arms, even though it shows that she has elbows, she moves like this. It doesn't make sense. And when you watch it, it is one of the most goofiest little shorts you will ever see. But Walt Disney was always evolving. That's why when you go and you watch Snow White, you go watch Sleeping Beauty, you watch Cinderella, they move like humans do, or at least as close as the animators of that time could get to. So when you go back and you look at the 80s, you look at Shera, you look at He-Man. Now, I was a huge He-Man fan when I was a kid. I had all of the action figures. I thought Skeletor was hilarious. And so I was more of a He-Man fan, but I always did enjoy Shera, the little bits that I was able to see of it. And my memory is kind of fuzzy on Shera. It's not as clear as as my memories of He-Man were, but I always loved the fact that they were able to tie it in. And even though He-Man was originally made to, because they were having toys and then they had a comic book, and it was all, if you watch the documentaries on He-Man and how it was created, it was always like, yeah, I totally have this idea. Let me pitch you this idea. And then it, they just kind of pulled the ideas out of their ass and were like, now we got to make it. And it was just like a perfect jumble fuck that just made into like this timeless thing that we all love and remember. And so I'm looking at the original Shera design, and yeah, it's not perfect. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. Let me just make that clear. Nothing will ever be perfect. And if you're searching for perfection, you're going to be disappointed. And I know I'm a perfectionist. I have to deal with this on a daily basis. But I'm looking at Shera and I'm like thinking how hard it was for them to make this. Shera, even though it's idealized, because most cartoons are, they're the idealized human form. You have Shera, who is a hero in this world. And, she's got the power just like her twin brother He-Man does. And the way that they had to animate it, how difficult it was, the hand-drawn animation. They didn't have tools like Photoshop. They didn't have Control-Z. For those of you that don't know, when you do Control-Z, it's the undo button. Pen to paper, ink, paint, all of that. They have to reuse backgrounds. Yes, they have to reuse models because they're on a limited budget, nowhere near what DreamWorks had for Shera, or the new Shera. And they did it all. And yes, because of those budget constraints, you can see where they really utilize things and where they kind of did shortcuts to make things work. But the fact that they were able to do this to this level in the 80s speaks for itself. And then you see what they made now in the 2010s. It's infuriating, because if you gave the tools that this person used to the tools that this person used, I couldn't even imagine what the animator back in the 80s would do if you presented them with Photoshop and you said, here, we'll have a professional teach you how to use it, because back in the 80s they didn't know what, that hadn't been invented yet, so they wouldn't know what to do. And then see what they would be able to accomplish with the tools that this person had. It's absolutely infuriating. Now, a lot of the people said, oh, you don't like it because she doesn't have giant tits. And I'm like, well, neither does Shera. Neither does the original Shera. She has, at least a B cup, maybe a C cup, but she doesn't have huge boobs. None of the women have huge boobs. They don't. And I really don't care about the chest size of a character. If you want to get, hypersexualized, you look at a character like Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. You don't look at Shera. She's idealized and fit because she's basically a superhero. But I don't see a problem with that, because that fits with her character. But a lot of people are like, oh, well, you can't jack off to it. It's like, well, I'm sorry, I'm an adult. I don't look at cartoons in a sexual manner. You can very much see when cartoons are sexualized, like I said with Jessica Rabbit. Shera's not sexualized, nor I don't think was she ever meant to be. And so that argument, it's like, how old are you? First off, if that's your immediate argument. Also, what kind of issue do you have when you just assume somebody that you don't know on the internet has an opinion that you don't like, so you immediately jump to, oh, well, you're upset because the new Shera doesn't have big tits and a huge ass and you can't jack off to it. It's like, well, one, my name on Twitter is thatstarwarsgirl. I can't exactly jack off when I'm a girl. Also, it's a picture of me holding my baby Yoda. Again, I'm a girl. I'm not sexually attracted to cartoons in any way, nor have I ever been. So that argument just baffles me. And the fact they're like, oh, well, you don't like diversity. You don't like different body types. I'm like, no. I've never said that, first off. Also, nor do I have a problem with diversity when it's done right. Nor do I have a problem with different body types or chest sizes on women. Nor do I have a problem with them making Shera younger. I really don't. Plenty of cartoons that I've watched have kids in them, like the freaking Rescuers. I love the Rescuers. I like the Rescuers Down Under more. But I mean, that's animation that has kids in it. I don't have a problem with characters going from what, a 20-something-year-old woman to a 16-year-old kid. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the fact that these people have all of these amazing tools to their advantage, and this is what they come up with. Again, if the animators back in the 80s had the tools that these people did now, there's no way that we would have something this lazy. And it truly baffles me. And it's like, gosh, you have all of these amazing things, and you could make the most awesome thing that we have ever seen, that anyone has ever seen, and you do something that's this lazy. And I get it. There are budget constraints and there are time constraints. But guess what? The people back then in the 80s had a much smaller budget than the people do now. And they were creating things like this that were insanely difficult to do back then. And they were doing it on a much less budget with, a pen and paper, basically. They didn't have Photoshop. They didn't have Flash. They didn't have any of the things that they have now. They didn't have the 3D programs that they have now that they're doing this show on. And so it really baffles and infuriates me that they come up with something like this. It's very, very lazy. And my biggest thing is, like, why would you do something... Why would you do something just basically mediocre when you could do something incredible, something that can change the world? And that infuriates me. And these people came out of nowhere. It's been, I think, like 2-3 days since I posted this tweet. And I didn't tag anything. I just said, this is infuriating. And I posted some pictures. And it's at over 4,000 quote tweets and counting. Now, not all of them are bad, but the majority of them are. And if you want to go through them, it's completely baffling on some of the stuff that people have said to me. Look, just this one. Y'all get so pressed the moment a character doesn't have big tits and a tiny waist. I hate you all. It's like, I never said that. I don't care what the character's body type is. My biggest concern is, does it look cool or not? Does this make, sense or not? If you're not going to do something, anatomically correct to a human and you're going to do a stylized, does it look cool? Does it work? So the fact that they're coming up with something so lazy, it's infuriating, because if you were to give the tools that we have right now to somebody back then, I mean, I couldn't even imagine the stuff that Walt Disney would be creating right now, the stuff that Hanna-Barbera would be creating right now if they had the tools that we have. So this kind of stuff, it's absolutely infuriating. And the people that follow me know this. The people that have been following me on Twitter, the people that are familiar with my channel, my content, they understand my way of thinking. So all of these over 4,000 people that are in some kind of Discord chat that decided all of a sudden, because this tweet was up for hours before the floods came in, and it's been a flood and it has not stopped. Over 4,000, and it hasn't stopped. And you can tell that they're all in some kind of Shera group chat, because they all say the same things, and it's some kind of, organized effort. to, you know, just constantly retweet me, constantly, you know, just go out of their way to say these terrible things about me. They're like, somebody said something bad about Shera. I don't know. Again, I don't know how they found me because I didn't tag anything. I never said anything to, you know, to do all this. But then they're just saying, you know, grown people who argue about cartoons for children need to get jobs immediately. And it's like, well, what the fuck are you doing? But also there's grown people in animation. Also, apparently no one's allowed to have an opinion on art anymore, or the mob is going to lose their mind. It doesn't make any sense to me. It completely baffles me, this mindset. I honestly, the way that the mob has been acting and working, it makes a very strong argument as to why children should not have cell phones and why children should not be allowed on social media. But it's just been days and days and days of this, and no one has made a, you know, a real point. It's all, oh, get over it. You know, you want like this. Y'all want to suck nostalgia's dick so hard or so bad instead of just enjoying new things. It's like, okay, so blindly enjoy things. Sit back, don't have an opinion. And this is one of the things that makes me livid, is that you're not allowed to have an opinion that the mob doesn't like. Like, look at this. Diversity infuriates you. I'm like, did I say that? No. All of these people jump to conclusions, and I said this because I started quote tweeting them, because that's what I do. I was told that whenever you, like, look at this, shut the fuck up, idiot. It's like, okay, you're not allowed to have an opinion, which, remember when they said, oh my God, we must defend women. Women are the purest thing ever. Women are the bestest ever. And if you attack a woman, you're the embodiment of evil. Until a woman has an opinion that you don't agree with. And it wouldn't even matter if, you know, I wasn't a woman and I was a man. Men are still entitled to opinions. Every single person in this world is completely entitled to their opinion. But these people can't stand the fact that somebody has an opinion on something that they don't like and they don't agree with. And they come out of the woodwork in an organized effort to blow my tweets up and take it out of proportion. And it's not just me. They've done it to others before. Like, look at this. I think I actually retweeted this one. A Rudibar cartoon that doesn't show hypersexualized characters to impersonable kids. So infuriating. Now, again, they actually use this argument a lot. And it's like, no. You want to say that it's because they're not sexualized, but then come to find out that the entire show, it's all about these, you know, because they're kids now. They're kids. They're not grown-ups. But then they're all sexually active in sexual relationships with one another. So it's like, huh, what is that argument again? But I don't know. I really don't know. I don't understand this mentality. I don't understand the mob. Over 4,000 tweets in 3 days of these people. And that's not even to talk about the comments on every single 4,000 of these tweets. And on my, you know, tweets in and of themselves. It completely baffles me. And I just don't understand the world that we're living in anymore. You're not allowed to have an opinion that they don't like. And also, when you give an opinion that they don't like, they immediately assume and they put words in your mouth what they think you're thinking, because they're projecting their own, you know, insecurities and inadequacies onto other people. It's like, it's a strong argument for parents. Don't give your kids cell phones. I feel like you should not have access to sites. And if another person's like, oh, well, you're attacking minors, I'm like, I have no way of knowing what age you people are. You don't have your real names. You don't have pictures of yourself. I have no idea how old you people are. I think either Twitter should have like a kind of badge, or like your name should be a certain color if you're within a certain age bracket, or something like that. If you want to say, oh, well, you're attacking children, it's like, well, I'm not attacking children. But if you really want to make that argument, then why are children interacting with adults if you don't want an adult to respond to you and, you know, treat you the way an adult would treat another adult? It makes no sense to me. Nothing in this world really does anymore, but holy fucking shit. I don't understand, and it's exhausting. But anyways, everyone, let me know what you think about this video and this whole situation in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and drop a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And if you're new here, please take a minute and smash the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Make sure that is set to all. That way you actually get my notifications. And if you haven't already, go over and subscribe to my new art channel. It's The Art of Anna, TSWG Studios. I know it's a long name, but if I ever do get a plaque on that, I want to have it. name on it. Everything that's on there right now is just my Inktober videos. All of the videos are, you know, under 3 minutes long. I am going to be, re-uploading all the art videos that I've done here on my channel onto this channel because my algorithm on this channel isn't really made for art videos. So they're all going to be there. All of my redesign streams, which, yes, I will be doing redraw and redesign streams on these Shera characters. They will all be over here on this channel. So take a minute, go over and subscribe. It would mean the absolute world to me. And everyone, thank you again so much for watching. Oh, this is insane, and I wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for all of you guys, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. And until next time, everyone, have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and may the force be with you because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone. What's up, everyone? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and I have an Etsy store, so if you've ever wanted to own a print of my artwork, this is the place to go. As you can see, I have a lot of recognizable characters, from horror films to heroes to Star Wars characters. Some of the notable characters I have on here are Darth Vader, which I did a couple live streams painting, so you can own a print of this painting. I also have Luke Skywalker, the Binary Sunset version, one of my favorite scenes in the original New Hope movie. I have Darth Maul, which Ray Parks himself actually complimented me on Instagram. And then last but certainly not least, Ahsoka Tano. So if you want to own any of these prints, go right on over to my Etsy store. Again, that's the art of Anna, That Star Wars Girl, or TSWG for short. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. What's up, everyone? I have a P.O. box, so if you want to send me some mail, go ahead and send it to Anna, That Star Wars Girl, or TSWG for short, at P.O. Box number 28171, Santa Ana, California, 927998171. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.